Hello, my dear fashion enthusiast. You're welcome to my channel. If you are stumbling on my video for the first time, you are here for a real learning experience. In today's tutorial, I'll be learning how to make this viral dress, this asymmetric hemline dress. If you've been wondering how to achieve this asymmetric hemline gown with the pleated part standing, like having a structured look, then this tutorial is for you. This was not achieved with just mere gathers, a straight gather. It was achieved with a flare. So if you're interested, let's get into the tutorial. So firstly, I'll be cutting this out on our pattern, and we'll be cutting both the back and the front pattern, just like you see I've separated them. And again, in case you're wondering why this looks so little, it's because the measurement I'm working it is for a small size. So but you can actually use this to work on any measurements. All you need is to just take cognizance of the way it was achieved. All right, so the biggest part of my measurement here was the bust, and the bust was 31 inch. 31 divided by 4 gave me 7.5 So I just made the box 8 inch. For the front I made it 8 inch, for the back I made it 9 inch. So I'll go ahead now and plot out all my measurements. So the total gown length I'm working in for this gown is 32 inch. I'll be adding just 1 inch as my sewing allowance, so that makes it 33 inch. So I will impute the 33 inch for both the back and the front. I'll start by working on the front pattern, and I'll be imputing my shoulder measurement. My shoulder measurement is 13 inch divided by 2 gave me 6.5. So from the middle point I mark my 6.5. Also from that middle point you want to mark your shoulder slope, which is 3 inch. Now from that your shoulder measurements, you go down by 1.5 for the front. For the back we'll be marking 1 inch. Then you also want to impute your chest line. If you're unsure how to get your chest line, here is how to get it accurately. For your chest line measurements, take your bust circumference, divide it by 6 inch. Okay, then you add 1.5 inch to whatever it is you have. So I'll go ahead now and divide my own bust point by 6, and I'll be adding 1.5 to it. But for the purpose of this tutorial, I won't be using the exact armhole circumference I got because of the style. Okay, so I got 6.8, but I'm going to make use of 6 inch. Okay, I can work with in between 6 to 7 inch. All right, but because it's a sleeveless top, and I want it to be very fitted at the armhole, so I'm just going to work with it that way. So I imputed that 6 inch. I also imputed my shoulder to my bust, which is 9, my shoulder to my underbust, shoulder to my waist, then my 22 inch that end leg, and of course I'll be imputing it at the other side as well, because I want this to help me to achieve a straight markings. So once I'm done now, I'll just go ahead and highlight all these points and make them visible for you to see. I'll also be labeling them: the bust point, the underbust line, the waist, the hip line. Okay, so now the same measurement of the shoulder we have there, you're going to impute it at your chest line measurement. Go ahead now and rule a straight line connecting from the shoulder to your chest line. To get your armhole curve, divide from your shoulder to your chest line, the value you have there, divide it into 2. At the middle point there, going by 0.75 for the front. Connect from that 0.75 mark to the beginning of the shoulder, and also use your curve ruler to collect from that 0.75 to the chest line. I'll be imputing my bust circumference of 4 inch. My bust is 31 divided by 2 will be giving me 7.5. Okay, so I'll be imputing that same 7.5 at my chest line measurement, just like you see. I'll be imputing my underbust circumference, which is 25. I'll be dividing it into 4, which will give me 6.25. Okay, so I'll impute it at the underbust. At the waistline as well, my waist is 24 divided by 2 will be giving you 6. Okay, and at the waistline I'll be adding my 1 inch for my dart, so I'll be imputing 7 inch at that waist part. The hip now, I'm also going to be imputing my hip circumference. Hip circumference of 30 inch divided by 4 will be giving me 7.5. I'll also be imputing that same 7.5 at the gown length. Okay, the total gown length. So I'll go ahead now and connect this point. From our bust point, I'm connecting to my waist From my waist, I'm connecting to my hip. From the hip, I'm going to connect it to the total gown length. Don't forget I told you that this is for a very, very small size, okay? But you can also use this to work on any measurements whatsoever. It's actually very easy to do. Now let's impute our dart. If you don't know how to get your dart, all you need to do is to take your bust circumference and divide it by 4. After dividing it by 4, deduct 1.5 inch from the total value you get. Alright, so that's just easy to do. So once I did this, I got 6¼ Now remember, we're working with half of the front, so I'm still going to divide that 6¼ into 2, so that gave me 3.1. okay, so that's what I'm going to be imputing there now as my nipple to nipple point. So I'll go ahead and impute it at the bust point, the under bust point, the bust line, the under bust line, the waistline, and my 22 inches mark. Once we've achieved this, now you want to go ahead and impute your dart. So I'll be imputing my ½ inch on both sides that I marked. So I'll go ahead and mark ½ inch on both sides at the waistline. So from that waistline, now you want to connect it to your bust point, and also you'll be connecting it to your 22 inches mark. Alright, so now we successfully created our dart. Okay, so now let's go ahead now and work on our underbust tightening. For your underbust tightening, you want to measure your underbust circumference divided by 4. Whatever you have left there is what you're now going to be imputing later on. So just watch what I'm doing there. So I'll be connecting the one for the center front with my straight ruler, but for the side front, I'm going to be connecting it with my curved part of my ruler because it's not meant to be straight. Also connect it as well from that underbust point to your waistline there. Okay, so repeat the same thing on the other side as well, just like you see me do. If you can achieve this neatly like this, your underbust will be well fitted, and it's very easy to do. So once you're done now, you've successfully created the underbust tightening. Let's work on the remaining part of the outfit. I'll go ahead now and impute my neckline measurement of 3 by 3, the width. Now for the design we are working on, the neckline is a turtle neckline, and it's also like an halter neck, so it's sleeveless, and the neck is a very high neck, and it has a little bit of a bishop collar. So now after marking your 3.3 inch, that means the width is 3 inch, the depth as well of the neckline is 3 inch. Just come out by 1 inch. 1 inch is just perfect. From that 1 inch, you'll be connecting it now to the chest line. Okay, and that's going to be where we're going to be doing all the alterations, and also connecting the bust point to the chest line as well. Just follow me, you see how easy it is to achieve this. Note this, that the reason why whenever you are working with a wide neckline or a sleeveless dress and it looks like it's gaping, is because you didn't do your proper tightening. So I'm going to be showing you how to do a proper tightening if you are working with a sleeveless dress, especially maybe like an halter neck design like this. So I wanted to make use of the shoulder dart technique of transferring that, but I ended up realizing that because of the neckline type I'm working with, it's not going to work out. Since I want the neckline to be as just like 1 inch, it's not going to work out for this. So I opted to make use of the armhole, the princess dart technique. Okay, so in case you end up saying that I ended up not using this design, just know that I'll be making use of the princess dart technique, and I'll be showing you that princess dart technique in detail. So to make use of my princess dart technique of transferring the darts, I'm going to go ahead and cut out the armhole first, that's the sleeve, so that it will not be too confusing, since I have so many markings on this already now. So now to achieve this princess dart, just this normal way we do our princess dart bust here, I'll just go ahead and mark 1 inch on both sides. That's the side front. Just follow what I'm doing. Mark 1 inch on both sides, connect from that 1 inch to the bust line, repeat it on the 2 sides. I know I should have made use of maybe like a different marker, maybe like a red or blue, something you can differentiate from others. Okay, but just follow me, it's easy to understand. From that 1 inch that I marked out now, this is going to be the ones I'll be working with now. So now for this part now, which I'll be labeling 2, I'm going to be making sure that it matches up with the 1, which I'm labeling 1. I'm going to make sure that it matches up. So I'm just going to use a little bit of piece of paper to cover up that place. I'll measure from the bust line to where the side front stops. I'm going to make sure that it is even when I measure from the bust point to where the side, to where the center front stops. Okay, so the center front is 7 inch. I want to make sure that the side front as well is up to 7 inch. So I'll just go ahead and make this. Now the reason why it's like this is because presets bustier that's like this usually have that difference, so you want to make sure you correct that part before you start cutting out. If not, it will be short when you are joining, when you are coupling it, you will notice the difference there. So I'll go ahead now and make sure that the side front is up to that 7 inch as well. Then I'll be connecting it back to my armhole. Very easy. So you want to cross check what you have before cutting out, because once you cut out, you might not be able to make any alterations on it again. So please ensure that you watch this video like 2 or 3 times so that you get how this was achieved. You can also make use of your shoulder dart technique if you know that you are not making use of this neckline design. It's because of the neckline design I'm working on. That's why I decided to transfer it from the shoulder dart to my princess bustier. Okay, so I'll go ahead now and cut this out so it does not look confusing. Remember, the reason why we did this actually is to avoid any form of gaping at that armhole side, since it's going to be a sleeveless dress. So now let's work on the back. For the back, you want to impute your shoulder to your chest line, shoulder to your waistline, shoulder to your 22-inch mark, which is going to be helping us to know where the dart is going to end, and the total gown length. Once I'm done, I'll just highlight these points for you to see my chest line, my bust point, my 22-inch mark, and the total gown length. So I'll go ahead now and impute my shoulder of 6.5, the shoulder slope, my chest line, just pretty much the same way we achieved the armhole for the front. Okay, just that the only difference between the armhole for the front and the back is that for the shoulder slope of the back, we are coming down by 1 inch. Okay, so now impute your bust circumference divided by 4, and also impute it at the chest line as well. Impute your waist circumference divided by 4 plus the dart. But for the waist for the back, you want to go in by 1/2 inch from the center back. Okay, so that we can achieve that we can eliminate the zip bulge effect. Okay, so once you're done imputing that 1/2 inch, from that 1/2 inch is where you're going to be imputing your waist circumference divided by 2 plus your 1 inch for the dart. Okay, impute your hip circumference divided by 4 as well, and impute that same value at the total gown length. Go ahead now and connect everything together, from your chest line to your bust, from the bust to the waistline, from your waistline connect to the hip line, and from the hip line, of course, to the total gown length. Once we are done now, we'll complete our armhole measurements. For the armhole, you want to divide from the shoulder to your chest line into 2. Whatever value you have there, go in by 0.5 at that point. So from that 0.5, connect to your shoulder. From that 0.5 as well, make a curved, making use of your curve ruler, make a curve to your chest line. So now I want to impute my neckline. The width is going to be 3 inch and the depth is going to be 1 inch. Remember, it's a bishop collar neckline. So once you're done now, from that your neckline, go out by 1 inch. From that 1 inch, you want to connect it back to your chest line, just like we did to the front as well. The back is pretty much easier than the front. So once you're done now, you'll be imputing your dart. For the dart, we're going to be starting from the waist, and when you're imputing it at the waistline, you'll be imputing it after that 1/2 inch zip bulge we did. Okay, so you go ahead now and impute your nipple to nipple point to get your dart intake. Go ahead now and connect it, making use of a straight ruler. Now at the waist there, you want to take out that 1/2 inch on both sides. Connect from your waist again to your bust point. Repeat on the other side as well. Connect from your waist to your 22-inch mark. Fortunately for me, the 22-inch mark for this was at the hip. Remember, it's for a small size. So now I'm going to be extending the dart outwards to the armhole. So I measured from the shoulder to the armhole. The value I have there, I divided it into 2. Now at this point here is where I'll be taking my dart outwards, just like I'm doing now. So I'll be connecting from my bust point to that armhole. You can decide as well to make use of a straight ruler, but I make use of a curved ruler at this point. Also make sure you extend it by half of an inch, because most times when you're working with princess bustier darts like this, it tends to be shorter by the side. So that's why I did that little alteration over there. Now let's work on our design, the asymmetric hemline design. Now for the asymmetric design, at the waistline you want to go down by 2 inch. Max is always 2 inch, so it still looks very fitted. So I'll be marking that 2 inch on both the front waistline and the back waistline as well. Then from that 2 inch line, I'm just going to connect it to my hip curve, okay, to my hip. Then I'll now mark a straight mark downwards. Now when you're working with asymmetric designs like this, you want to make sure that you study this design to know the type you are working with, because it comes in different designs and patterns. So for the style I'm working with, this is how I want it to look like. So I'm connecting from that 2 inch I came down from my waistline to the dart end leg, okay. I repeated the same thing on the front as well. So you want to extend whatever it is you used as your dart measurements to the down part. That's a nipple to nipple. Whatever it is you use, just take it downwards like you see me do. Impute the same dart intake as well. Impute it at the gown length, the total gown length of the front as well. Just connect it, making use of a straight ruler. So now this is what I was able to achieve my own asymmetric design. Make sure you notch those places when you are cutting them on your patterns, and also when you are transferring them to your fabric, so that you don't mix them up. So I'll just go ahead and highlight this so that you can see it. And now we are done with both the front and the back pattern. I'll go ahead now and label them so I don't mix them up when I'm working with it. And you also want to label the part that will be facing upwards, so that once you are placing it on your fabric, it will be easy for you to locate. Go ahead now and just cut out your patterns. So if you watch it to this extent and you still feel like you didn't understand it, I would like you to know that tutorial videos are meant to be watched more than once for you to understand, especially if you take your time in understanding things. We understand these things differently, so don't let anyone make you feel as if you are dull in learning or anything. If you found this tutorial video helpful, give this video a thumbs up. If you have any questions at all as regarding this or any fashion related subject, you can drop it on the comment section and I'll do well to give you a reply. Turn on post notification bell as well, so you get notified when I'll be uploading the sewing tutorial of this video. That's the part B and the concluding part of this tutorial. I tell you, the pattern of this is actually the most, let's say, hard part of this. The sewing is very easy, and this is because once you are able to get your pattern right, it will be easier to do the sewing. So once you're done cutting it out, now the part that is going to be having the flare or the gathers look is what you see me holding now. So I'll just go ahead now and divide it into 4 equal parts. Depends on what you want to do. You can divide it into 3 equal parts, or 4 equal parts, or 5 equal parts, depending on the size you're working on. So I'm going to just divide this into 3 equal parts. Then I'll go ahead as well and make sure that I label them before I cut them out. You want to label it, the side back, the center back. Also make use of an arrow to indicate which side will be facing up. So I've repeated the same thing on the front as well. So I'll go ahead now and cut this out. You can see I labeled them 1 2 3, both for the side and for the front. I make sure that I labeled them so once I'm transferring them to fabric, it does not look confusing and I don't mix them up. Once I'm done, I'll just place it on my fabric. Now once I was placing it on the fabric, the trick here is to make sure you are placing it on the bias of your fabric, okay. It will help you to achieve that structure and that firmness you want, so it does not just slip on the body. It will have like a flare effect. So I placed them on bias, and also indicated which part is going to be the side. Remember, there's no joining on the side. The joining is only going to be on that part. Okay, so that's what I indicated with that middle choking that you can see there. So I went ahead and added my sewing allowance both on the upper part and the down part as well. I made use of 2 yards for this fabric, 2 yards of African print for this weight, and it's just because I'm working on a very small size. Okay, so if you're working with a bigger size, you can't make use of 2 yards. If your measurement is bigger than what I'm making use of, and the length of the person is bigger than this, please, you can't make use of 2 yards. Okay, even the 2 yards, I had to struggle to work within that 2 yards. Okay, so the reason why you need to cut on bias is so that it can have that structure and that flare effect. All right, cutting it on straight will still give you the flare effect, but it will not have that standing structure. Okay, unless if you plan on adding gathers to it. So now this is what it looks like once I was done cutting it out. Can you see? So if you're interested in seeing the sewing part, you want to subscribe to this channel if you haven't. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you very much. God bless you. See you on the next one. Bye. Don't forget to subscribe.